Welcome to Soulful Contemplations, where we're going to be reading about Rumi, the poetry of Rumi. Welcome. This morning I have something really wonderful lined up for you, and I hope that you will enjoy it. All right. So today we're reading from a poem by Rumi called "The Reed Flute's Song," and I don't know how many of you are familiar with Rumi, but his poetry has tremendous layers of depth, and we're going to explore that. If you find that exciting, hang on in here and let's dive deep. The idea of contemplation really is not just to read with our mind or with our intellect, or nor will I be giving you a long history about Rumi, but really it's about feeling about what Rumi is trying to get to. What is the essence of what he's trying to say? Feeling into the depth of his work. So listen to the story told by the reed of being separated. The reed says, "Since I was cut from the reed bed, I have made this crying sound." You know, the reed is cut and then made into an instrument like a flute, right? And we enjoy the sound of the flute. We enjoy its music. But for the reed, it is the sound of separation from its reed bed. It once belonged to the reed bed, and now it has been cut off. And the sound you hear of the flute is the sound of his separation, the depth of his woe, the depth of that sadness that he's exhibiting. Okay? Now, why is this relevant to us, and why is Rumi using this metaphor? And what does it really mean? Let's read further, and then I'll. Apart from someone he loves, understands what I say. Anyone pulled from a source longs to go back. So now he's starting to reveal the deeper meaning of what he's saying about the reed. We too have a longing. If you think about it, we long for happiness. We long for peace. We long for harmony. We long for love. We long for eternal life. We want to live forever. We long for eternal youth. We don't want to die and get old. We long for abundance. We want to have everything we desire, right? And then we strive and we work and we struggle and we do everything possible to try to achieve these seemingly impossible objectives, because in fact, no one lives forever. No one stays young forever. And no one, no matter what they've attained in this life, no matter how rich you are, you leave it all behind. You came empty-handed, as the saying goes, and you go from here empty-handed. Through this entire journey of our life, there is a longing. That longing is a longing to go back. We don't even know what that longing is. We don't even know why we long for what we long. Why do we long for happiness? I mean, everybody, the whole world. There's not one person in this world that, well, unless they're seriously depressed or don't see any hope or something else, anyone who has hope within them, a sense of self within them, is longing for these things. Why? Why is it universal? Why does it go beyond religion and country and color and race and everything else? These things cut above all the differences all the differences that we have in the physical world, our social status, whatever else. Why? Why? Because within this longing is the longing to go back. Go back where? See, you only long for something, you only seek something that you think is possible. You seek something that well, if I'm looking for my car, then I must have had a car, right? I don't go around looking for a car I never had. I don't go around looking for keys I never had. I don't go around looking for a house I do not have, right? If I had something and I lost it, now I'm looking for it. There is a longing for this eternal, for this thing, this eternal love, this eternal happiness. Like, we don't just look for love, we look for eternal love. Like, why? Where is this coming from? And if you really stop and ponder and contemplate, where is this coming from? Rumi proposes to you something that you may want to consider. It's a longing to go back home. Home. What is home? Where is home? Some would say it's in heaven. Maybe it is. Maybe some would say it's with God, and maybe it is. And I'm not denying any of that. And all that is possible. But there is also a first level of home that you can attain here and now, before any, thing out there. And that home is here. Back home, back to yourself, right? There is a longing to go back home. We've been here in our head. We've been in the world. We've been everywhere but here. And by here, I mean our soul, the essence, that which we are, that which we were when we were a baby, and that which we are as a teenager, and that which we are now, and that which we will be when we get old, and that which we will be on our deathbed, and that which we will be when we leave this body, right? So that part, that coming home, back to self, that is what Rumi is indicating here. Then he continues, at any gathering, I am there, mingling in the laughing and grieving, a friend to each, but few will hear the secrets hidden within the notes. No ears for that. Body flowing out of spirit. Let me go back. This is so exciting. Rumi is saying, at any gathering, I am there. He says, like, I'm there. The flute is being played, the reed, right? The reed which is there which is in the flute is being played at every gathering. And in that gathering where people are mingling and laughing and grieving, I'm there. And Rumi speaks of himself too. I'm there, right? A friend to each, but few will hear this hidden secrets hidden within the notes. No ears for that. You hear what you want to hear. You do not want to hear the depth of the sorrow that the reed is feeling. Now you want to be positive. We all want to be positive. We want to be happy. We think that being positive will make us happy. Oh no, it hasn't made anybody happy. It's only made us go on a bigger treadmill, a treadmill of trying to do something that is about twisting our mind around in knots. Self-help, that'll make me happy. No, it doesn't, right? No matter how much you help yourself, no matter how much you have, no matter how much you do, no matter where you go, the pain of longing stays with you. The pain of longing for something that is not being achieved, that isn't being fulfilled, the love of your life that you wanted but never got, right? We keep hoping for it. We keep thinking it will happen now. Now, this one, that one, this will happen, and this will be it. And it doesn't happen. And so there's a deep longing for something more. Even the wealthiest person in the world wants something more. They're never satisfied. I used to always be amazed by this. Why does a person who's a multimillionaire not stop? Don't they have enough? Right? The average person, you give them millions of dollars, they'd say, oh, I have enough. I can retire now. But even they will go out. The person who doesn't have it, let's say wins a lottery ticket, will go out, blow it all up, and come back to zero. Once again to be hankering, once again to be wanting. And the person who has it keeps thinking, oh, well, it's got to be the next thing. It's got to be the next thing. I got to make some more. I got to make some more. The person who has love in their life starts looking at other people, starts thinking they must be happy, looks at Facebook, looks at other places, and we just sit and have dinner, and home, and we watch TV. But these people, they're out there vacationing, and they're doing all these wonderful things. They must be happy. Oh my gosh, there's more. So this longing for more and more and more and more has no end. But Rumi knows the secret. He knows this longing in our heart, the longing that the reed is expressing, right? The reed is expressing a certain longing, a longing of being separated and wanting to return home. That longing is the longing of ourself, wanting to return to ourself, because that which we've been longing for could not be fulfilled in this world. It cannot. It will not. Let's get that straight. Let's get that straight. Now, that's not about saying get depressed. That's not saying about getting hopeless. That is saying turn within, where what you want can be easily found, where there's no struggle anymore, where there's no stress anymore. To find it is only one step away. It's a journey from here to here. And that journey, you've been given great tools. Masters through the ages have taught us how to do this. They've taught us to meditate. They've taught us to breathe. They've taught us to come to our body. They've taught us that right here is where it lies. Get out of your head. Get out of your thinking. Get out of all of that, and you shall find it. It's here, waiting for you right now. Right? So it's not some big impossible task that you cannot achieve. It's not some crazy difficult thing that is impossible to attain. It is in fact the easiest thing. What is difficult is our lifetime, maybe many lifetimes, of addiction to the external. But we have not been fulfilled there. So let's continue with Rumi and see what he says about that. Body flowing out of spirit, spirit up from body, no concealing that mixing. And it's not given us to see the soul. The reed flute is fire, not wind. Be that empty. So he's saying the same thing I was saying earlier, which is that here, people are at a party, that's what he's describing, and they're drinking. The body is flowing out of spirit, and spirit up from body, no concealing that mixing. So the body and spirit are now mingling here. But it's not given us to see the soul. None of this stuff we do, whether we party or we enjoy or whether we are doing any number of things, having any number of things, it's not given us to see the soul. It's not given us this. It's not given us this wonderful, glorious insight of who we really are. It's not shown us this most addictive thing that lies within us and is available for free. The reed flute is fire, not wind. See, the reed flute is empty inside. He says, be that empty. And then the fire. It's not about the wind that blows through it. It's the fire of its longing that will emerge. Heat the love fire tangled in the reed notes as bewilderment. Hear the love fire. And hear the love fire tangled in the reed notes as bewilderment melts into wine. Let's hear that again. Hear the love fire tangled in the reed notes as bewilderment melts into wine. Hey, hold it. Within this longing is a fire. Within this longing is a fire. He calls this a love fire. Just as in love there is a passion, there is a fire. And it is tangled within the notes of the reed. It is tangled within the longing. It is tangled within that sadness, that feeling of emptiness that we all experience. As bewilderment melts into wine. Our bewilderment is that we're in this world and we're not getting what we want. We're not fulfilled. We're not happy. We're not satisfied. And we drink our wine thinking that this is what will give us release from the world, whether that's an intoxicant of a drug you take or a wine or an alcohol, whatever it is you take. We think that this will give us release. We think that the next relationship, the next job, the next thing will give us release, right? Bewilderment melts into wine. We try to escape from the world. But instead of trying to escape it, Rumi says something else. He says, the reed is a friend to all who want the fabric torn and drawn away. The reed is a friend. If you will listen to the notes of the reed, of that music of the reed, if you will listen to the notes of your soul, if you will listen to the sound emanating from your soul, the heart pouring out into you, which you are misinterpreting as stuff and people and things and situations, right? If you will hear the notes of that reed that lies within you, you will realize that the reed is a friend to all who want the fabric torn and drawn away. What is the fabric? The fabric is the fabric of all that we have created and wanted and desired and known, and all of this stuff that has been created here. This, when this is torn and drawn away, you will hear the reed, the soul, clearly. The reed is hurt and salve combining. So you will feel within it the pain of longing, and it will also be its own salve, its own balm, its own soothing energy that it will have. The reed is hurt and salve combining, intimacy and longing for intimacy, one song. Intimacy and longing for intimacy becoming one, right? Becoming one song. It's, when you bring these two opposites together, the not have, when you come in touch with the real desire that lies within you, the longing for intimacy, the longing for connection, the longing for true eternal love, right? And you bring that longing in touch with the real thing that you're longing for, that union that arises, become that oneness that arises. He calls this in the next words. He says, a disastrous surrender and a fine love together. A disastrous surrender and a fine love together. The one who secretly hears this is senseless. He says, if you get this point that I'm making, that by surrendering into that longing, you will fulfill it. Instead of resisting this longing, instead of fighting this longing, instead of looking outside for it, instead of seeking it all over the world where you have not found it, come within yourself and you will find it here. And listen to it and be with it. Be with that longing that is within you. Not resisting it, not fighting it, not seeking it, not fixing it, not becoming depressed and hopeless and sense of I will never get there. I will never get the love of my life. I will never be happy. That is this despondency that arises. So neither trying to go out there nor go into that despondency. Stay, be present, feel that longing within you. That longing that can only be fulfilled by being here. By being here. It will not be fulfilled anywhere else. And then it becomes a disastrous surrender into that. And you experience a fine love within it. You experience what you've been seeking right here within yourself. And you realize that what you were seeking was you. The one who secretly hears this is senseless. And then you tune out to the world because there's nothing left. You're no longer bewildered by the world. You're no longer captivated by the world, although the world is so amazing and it is so captivating. But yet I have found the greatest treasure, and it was right here all along, and it was me, within me. And I don't mean the me which is the ego. I do not mean the me which is what you think you are. Absolutely not. No way, no way, no way. That's the way to narcissism. No way. We are not talking about that me. This is the me that is experienced in surrender, a disastrous surrender, as Rumi calls it. It is a devastation, as he calls it. It is a place of the melting of the ego takes place. The melting. You know how people say, follow your dreams. No, do not follow your dreams. Break your dreams. Shatter your dreams, right? Because your dreams are what are leading you to go on and on and on and on in this world. Please stop. The one who secretly hears this is senseless, he says. A tongue has one customer, the ear. The tongue has one customer, the ear. A sugarcane flute has such effect because it was able to make sugar in the reed. The sound it makes is for everyone. Because when you understand that when you understand that there is only one destination, there are not many destinations, there is not everywhere, that the tongue has one customer, the ear, the sugarcane flute has such effect because it was able to do one thing, and that was to make sugar in the reed bed. The sound, because of that, the sound it makes is for everyone. So one who has found this inner flute within themselves, this inner, and has allowed one, and has allowed for that flute, that inner longing to be felt and expressed. Now this person is for everyone. Now you are for everyone. You are do no longer belong to you. Days of wanting, let them go by without worrying. Is that the ego will still want, the ego will still desire, this ego will still look for whatever it wants. But days full of wanting, let them go by without worrying that they do. Stay where you are, inside such a pure, hollow note. Every thirst gets satisfied except that of these fish, the mystics who swim a vast ocean of grace, still somehow longing for it. Okay. So it's not that this longing that we have is never fulfilled. This longing is, as we find it within ourselves, we begin to find it everywhere in the world. It becomes like an ocean. The world becomes like an ocean that we are swimming in. We're finding this magical presence that lies within us. We are now finding it everywhere. We're finding it in everyone. What is lying within us is now spread throughout the universe. We then discover that this also is that God. That God is here. That God is now. It is not something out there. And then, as you swim this vast ocean of grace, the longing never ends. The longing is eternal. The longing is fulfilled and yet empty again at the same time. The longing is here and is satisfied and then here again, and satisfied and then here again. And it is an eternal process, right? The mystics know this. The mystics who swim a vast ocean of grace, still somehow longing for it. No one lives in that without being nourished every single day. But if someone doesn't want to hear the song of the reed flute, it's best to cut the conversation short. Say goodbye and leave. Oh. But if someone doesn't want to hear the song of the reed flute, it's best to cut the conversation short. Say goodbye and leave. In other words, don't talk to people about these things who aren't ready to hear. Don't talk to people about this magical presence that lies within us and all around us. We live in a magical world. We absolutely do. Talk to someone who's a mystic. Talk to someone who's experienced this. And they will tell you, we live in a magical world. All around us is God. In us, all around us, everywhere is God. This ecstatic presence, this ecstatic energy is all there is. And yet, we get caught up in our heads. Now, there are those who go back and forth between this. There are those who are already there and stay there. And then there are those who are not interested in going there, right? So don't waste your time with the ones who are not interested in going there. Rumi says, this is like wine. He compares this inner presence to an intoxicant like wine. And you may say, oh my God, wait a minute, that's horrible. I'm in AA. And no, my dear friend, even if you are in AA, what you've been looking for as an alcoholic was this intoxication. The greatest intoxication of all was within you. It was not in the wine. That's why they called it spirits, because of this, which you were looking for, is spirit. And he says, go to the place that is the wine house or the bar, as we call it in today's time, and you will find others who are also drunkards as you are. Now please do not misunderstand that he is talking of alcoholics, like literally talking of wine. He's using it as a metaphor. He uses it as a metaphor because in the culture that he was in the radical Muslim culture, the Orthodox Muslim culture, they would have stoned him for saying such things. So these words had to be disguised by the Sufis, and they would use these metaphors of wine or woman or whatever to be able to get across. And then those who got it, and those who didn't, right? So if you're a person who gets it, talk it, so that we can gather together in that wine house, that bar, that place where all of us can be drunk on this nectar. This nectar is what we are longing for. This is the longing of the reed. This is the longing of the reed to return home. Come home, my dear friends. Come home and find all those like you who have been longing for the same thing. We're here together. Let us bring ourselves to hear more and more about this. My name is Rohit, and we've been reading from Rumi and contemplating his words and seeing how they apply to us in our lives. I'll be here every Monday on this channel talking about this at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. And I'm also going to be on my channel, which is rohitjuneja.us, every weekday, Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. On Facebook, on YouTube, as well as on Instagram. So you'll find me here. And I look forward to connecting with you more and more, and for all of us to form together in this tribe of people that are seeking and longing and wanting this most beautiful nectar, intoxicant that lies within us and all around us, in each of us. So I look forward to hearing more from you. Please tell me your views. Maybe you heard these words of Rumi differently. Maybe you would interpret them differently or understand them differently. Maybe you have something you can add to the conversation. I'd love to hear that. Please write that in your comments and let me know what you think. All right? Take care. Have a wonderful and blessed day. And I look forward to seeing you every morning, weekdays, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. Lots of love. Bye. Take care.